we're awake from last week's fever dream because that was insane. We're the Depths of Jigoku podcast. We are always joined by the illustrious DreadPirate.
What up?
The smooth, hopefully not munching on food, KickenBeans.
Hola.
The confidently incorrect Kain.
I have a problem.
And of course, joined by our AI helper bot 3000, BiPoe. What's up? What it do, boys?
I will edit that and make it sound good.
Yeah.
What it do, guys?
So,
How was everybody's Mother's Day weekend? Did you call your moms?
listen, if I called my mom, you guys have no fucking excuse.
Not right.
So in my culture, Friday was Mexican Mother's Day, and then Sunday was American Mother's Day. So I spoke to my mom twice.
Nice.
I mean, in
And she got
fairness,
presents two different
Aw.
times because of that.
nice. Yeah, I texted mom at 9 in the morning because that's when I went into work, and I didn't leave work until midnight.
That's a long day.
It's a good shift.
It was a long fucking shift. Well, we only had so many bartenders that are available to work on Sunday, so all of us were on doubles. And in order for everybody else to get a break, somebody had to not take a break. And, well, it was me,
Oh, wow.
being the whole leader and shit.
Do you get salary for work, or not salary? Do you get overtime for working that many hours?
Oh, yeah. It was like 6 hours in overtime, which at my new pay rate was probably about 22 an hour plus tips.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
I was not upset after 5 hours of being there. I was like, and I'm on overtime. I don't give a shit if we're busy. I'm just here for the money.
God, I'm looking for jobs right now, and it is rough, the salary situation, because I know I'm going to end up working like 55, 60 hours a week.
You're
Well,
looking for a new job?
Yeah, man, they won't promote me, so I'm going to go find a place that will.
Whoa, that's new. When did that when did that develop?
So I have to do like quarterly check-ins and all this shit. And when I came down to this town with the new team and the new big boss man, I explained, I was like, hey, I want to make my next position promotion, not money promotion, by March, but I'm willing to wait till the end of May. I'm already doing the job. I'm already functionally doing everything. I just don't get like fuel and a car stipend and stuff like that. So that's really where the extra money would be, is like a monthly car stipend, a monthly maintenance stipend. I no longer have to buy gas. So
Right, which those benefits add up.
yeah,
That's fair.
it's effectively a little bit more than the yearly raise I got. We're getting close to the end of May, and my next project, they hired somebody that does the position I want, which doesn't mean anything. They could move him. This could be a test bed because I've been training him this entire time.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and it's very vocal. One of my coworkers is real pissed I'm looking for another job. But he understands, and even my big boss is like, look, corporate won't let us promote you until we have a position available. I didn't hire the other dude, corporate did. They sent him here. We're working on it. And I was like, well, I mean, I'm one of those kinds of people that says if I don't get promoted, I'm leaving at a certain time, and that certain time's coming up. So just so you know, I am actively looking for jobs, because I had my quarterly check-in yesterday. Yeah.
Okay.
Did it go well?
Yeah, I mean, nothing but praises. And in these things, I always ask, hey, what can I do better? What am I doing wrong? Please be honest. I will make an actual attempt at fixing that. And they're not, like, they don't have anything that I'm doing wrong. They admit that I'm effectively training my own boss. So it's one of those weird things, like, all right, well, if, corporate decided that there's no room to promote me, then there is 50 other companies that do the same thing I do. So guess what? I'm going to go work for one of them.
I mean, that's where I was when I just got my promotion. I thought about it like 2 weeks ago. I was like, all right, I got to make a decision. I'm already doing the work of what I want to be paid for. I'm just not getting paid for it. So I've made the decisions. I started updating my resume, started applying for other jobs, and like messaged my boss. I was like, "Hey, I would like to have a sit down talk." And he was like, "I would too soon." I was like, "All right, sweet. Wednesday or like Thursday?" He's like, "Yeah, that's fine." So we sat down, and then I was like, I told him what I wanted, and he threw the paperwork at me. I'm just like, "Bet." I'm glad we had the same idea.
Yeah. It's one of those you got to be your own champion kind of things. You're never going to move far in a company, no matter how much you like the company or how much you're doing for the company, unless you're your own champion. And
Absolutely.
I'm one of
That's the
those.
fucking truth.
Yeah, I'm one of those kinds of people that's like, listen, I'll do what you tell me to do because that's all a job is do what you're told to do, as long as it's legal and just bust it out. And like that's what I do. If somebody tells me to do something, I go do it. If I don't know how to do it, I ask questions and then I go do it. And it's
What it takes.
recognized. It's just, if corporate doesn't have the position because they hired somebody, then guess what? They get to deal with not having me around.
And it's crazy how that can play out as well. Like, for example, my partner has been in a very similar situation for the past like year and a half where she's been doing the work. She was given a salary promotion for the work she's doing, but she never got the title. And so she's been working it, she's been busting her ass, she's been proving herself, and she's had the drive to keep pushing to get what's owed to her. And then finally, I think it was like 3 weeks ago, her company recognized her and gave her the title promotion. They gave her another little salary bump to say, like, essentially a thank you. And now that she's received it, she's on the other side of it where she's just like so burnt out and it's too little too late. And she's not on the verge of leaving that company yet, but she's like feeling very empty from it all.
I know that. I know that feeling.
But yeah, it sucks because I really dig the company I work for. I really dig the people I work with. And it's just one of those like the field I work in is all the companies are pretty similar until they get to a certain size and then they get really corporate. And luckily where I live, there's no companies that are doing well that I would even apply for that's not in that medium sized category where you can still like enjoy your job and they're still trying to help you out. So I have plenty of options and that's what I'm working on right now. Like I did my resume at work today. And I even emailed our people services people and was like, "Hey, can you shoot me my corporate resume so I could steal things off of it?" And that lit a fire under somebody's butt because they were like, "Are you trying to leave?" I was like, "I'm not trying to, but I'm willing to." And they're like, "Let me make some phone calls. We'll get back to you tomorrow." And I was like, "Okay, that doesn't change. Like, fucking my boss has been making phone calls for the last 4 months trying to get me promoted. I don't think people services is gonna fucking do it."
I mean, it's all about knowing your value within yourself and in a company as well. Walk around and be like, "This is what I'm worth."
Yeah, and all the projects I've been on have been extremely profitable, to include the fucking shit show I'm on currently. Both my last 2 projects were grinders, and I never complained. I even would volunteer to stay late or come in early. Or that last month of my last project, we were working like 85-hour work weeks, but that was the whole team. But like I enjoy it. I enjoy the job I do. I enjoy what I'm getting into, and it sucks that I'm going to have to leave the company to get promoted, but I'm also not going to be that kind of guy or that kind of person that sticks it out because they like the people they work with, but they're going to make $20,000 a year less. Know what I mean?
We're getting too old for that shit, man. We don't got that many years of trying to like. Once you get even older, it's unfortunate, but a lot of places will start looking less at you because of your age.
Yeah, and I'm about 10 years older than the equivalent position I'm looking for is average age. But like they always tell me that that's what they like is I come at it with a different level of maturity when I'm talking to customers or I'm talking to people that are contracting with us. Like I don't come at it like a 24, 25-year-old. I come at it like my old grumpy self, and I don't take shit when I don't need to take shit, and I do, I'm willing to take an L if it will behoove the company or behoove the project. And I'll work things out with people. Say we like split cost of something that was unknown in half, or I eat the labor and they eat the material, stuff like that. And I've never had anybody say I made a bad decision or I made a bad deal. It's always like I'd have done that same shit. And that's kind of why my coworkers are a little grumpy at corporate right now. I
Yeah,
haven't
that's fair.
I haven't heard any grump towards me. And I like to think I have a very open communication with my higher ups. It's always like, we will figure this out. Do not accept another job without talking to us. And I was like, oh no, I plan on talking to you guys, because if you could beat their offer, then like, who gives a fuck about the title?
Right.
I'm fucking getting ready to broach that over the hill mentality, and I need to get paid. You could fucking put janitor in front of my name for all I care. If you're gonna pay me what I want to get paid, I'll fucking sweep. I don't give a shit.
That's the other thing too, man. As we get older, our perspectives are just changing. We're at a point where we're just trying to build things for ourselves and for our families and for those around us.
Yeah, we're
all
actually
worked.
starting to look into look at our future. Like this is the first time in my life I've started look toward like more than 2 years into the future.
Yeah, man, make a 5-year plan, and you'd be surprised just having that goal, how much it motivates you to actually push towards something.
Thinking about doing a vision board.
Oh,
Like, just physically have something up for me and my family members to where we could spend a year working on those goals, whether they take 2 or 3 days, whether they take 51 weeks. Like, just having something up that helps us figure out, stay on task, stay on goal, helps us figure out what steps we need to complete those goals, kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
You better
There's
believe
art-
buying a Supra is at the top of that fucking list.
Dude, not to segue the conversation, but a couple episodes ago, a couple weeks ago, I was talking to you guys about just looking at importing a car and all that kind of stuff. And man, I have fucked up. Like, my feed is just inundated with options and vehicles that are available from overseas, and I just can't stop looking at it.
Did someone dive too deep into the rabbit hole this time?
I'm not going to make a stupid decision and pull the trigger on something because I definitely sure as hell can't afford it right now, but I might have to throw it on his vision board. Or, sorry, Kane's vision board.
Hey, they apparently they work. There's whole studies about that shit, and I'm just like visualizing it every day, and like I've experienced it. I used to keep like when I was much in like my early to mid 20s. If I wanted something bad enough, I just kept that shit in the back of my like laptop or screen or my computer screen. And eventually, I got it.
Hell yeah.
It took me a year or two, but it happened.
It goes back
Sometimes the
to
length of it.
It goes back to, you just gotta see your goals and have the drive to get to them.
Yeah, that's it.
And the willpower.
And you can't let time dissuade you sometimes. You just gotta stick through it, have the willpower to just be able to know that you're working towards it, whether it's big steps or little steps. Every motion is towards your goal.
Yeah, I mean, I've wanted a Supra since I was 14, man. Since that orange one with the stupid dude pointing forward on it.
I gotta be honest. I just saw on Facebook Marketplace here in Jacksonville or one of the surrounding cities. Fucking really nice condition FC body, no engine or transmission, 4,500.
So here's my problem with this, because I know you. I've known you for a long time. If you get a shell, you're gonna put a 3-rotor in it.
Yeah, probably.
See, you're talking, the difference between a 2-rotor and a 3-rotor is 10 G's.
Yeah, but at the point I'm going to be building my fun little weekend car, I'll be at a point when I can do that.
Yeah, but
that's definitely not a now thing. That's a later thing. I just bought a new car. I don't need to be fucking getting a project car for shit.
I agree. I just, as much as I love building motors, rotaries just don't do it for me. And I'm going to be in your garage with a beer helping you build that thing.
Okay, it's not being built for you.
I know how to build rotaries.
I could be selfish. Yeah,
I will help you build that rotary. and just live vicariously through you.
I
Fine.
think I've built 3 of them, and 2 of them
They're-
are still running.
They're not that fucking complicated. They're a hell of a lot simpler than a goddamn piston motor. I rebuilt one of the multiples of those.
Yeah, but if you fuck up your spring layout, and you could fuck it up by just like wiggling the rotor around too hard, or looking at it weird, or like dreaming about it, uh, you're gonna blow an apex seal. You gotta get the spring set perfect.
We'll figure it out, man.
It's not that bad.
Between 3 of us who all used to work in shops, I'm sure we can figure that shit out.
We're gonna cut to 2 years from now. It's just gonna be this white FC piss and smoke out the exhaust pipe, idling at 1200 RPMs. Be like 3 rotor complete.
I'll say if it ain't blowing smoke, it ain't running right.
Not wrong.
I'm not against this in any way, shape, or form. So the only thing that turned me off about the FC I saw on Facebook Marketplace, I didn't fucking like the body kit. They put a whole ass body kit on it. I wasn't a fan.
Yeah, and it's hard to find factory parts. That car looks so good stock.
It does, and I like the way those look, like the way AE86 look with like a nice lip kit, and that's fucking it.
Yeah.
I get because they're such a similar square body style with the flip up lights, and they're both real short. I think just a lip kit is all you need. You put a full body kit, it's just too fucking much.
Dude, pop-up lights are where it was at. I miss
If they
pop-up
work.
lights.
I miss being able to wink at people with my pop up lights.
Yeah.
That's it. The wink was the fucking best, man.
We had a Miata wink at us the other day, and Aaron was like, "What's wrong with their car?" I was like, "That's not a problem. That's a feature."
I remember the way to make my old '89 Turbo Probe wink was you just had to hit the button like really quick 3 fucking times, and it was like whoop, whoop, and just like spazzed out and then winked.
Same thing with the 240.
So what you were doing is you were giving your car a slow eye.
Yeah, it's strong eye. It was handy capable. God damn it.
Like when your buddy gets too drunk or too high, and all of a sudden their eyes just start blinking at different intervals.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it when they take too much illicit substances and one eye is way more open than the other, and you're like, "Why are you Forrest Whitakering me, motherfucker?"
I'm guilty of that.
I almost got into a fight at a Halloween because of it. I think DreadPirate was who saved me.
Probably. There's a lot of things I remember and don't remember at those festivals.
I don't think you saved me or saved him because he was a little twinky fucking hippie kid. I think I was like getting in the middle of an argument with them, and you just kind of walked up and was like, "Yo, let's go to this show." And I was like, shows," because illicit substances.
Yeah. That sounds like me. I was like, all right, I want to go here.
The fun side of ADHD when it's self-induced.
Yeah.
Oh God, yes, I know.
Dude, it's hard to party with DreadPirate sometimes. We were fucked up and like a not super crowded part of a show. I think it was Opio. And it might have been LS Dream. And I look at him and I'm like, "Hey man, my PTSD's kicking in. We need to back up, get a little bit out of this crowd." And he's like, "Deeper," and just takes off to the front row. so I had to chase him down and be like, no, what are you doing?
That I do remember. All I heard was deeper. I was like, all right. Because what I was thinking was deeper.
I'm not mad at you for it now. At the time, I was lit. I was like, "No, you motherfucker!"
You self-validated.
Yeah, I'm about to cold cock someone. You're over here like, let's get more crowded.
So, and that atmosphere, what is one of your favorite memories of all the festivals and events that you've been to? What is one of your most favorite memories?
I'm a pretty stiff human being. I don't dance around too much. You saw it a little bit at the last show me and you were at, but
Yeah.
floozies at Halloween. I got into it, man. Me and DreadPirate were dancing, we were chilling. It was a good time.
Lucy's always gets me, man. That's why I love them, because I can't not shake my ass when I'm at their shows, no matter where I'm at. Even when I was like, we went to see him at 1904 that one time, and it was so fucking packed. I still found a way to shake my ass.
Well, I mean, you get those
Oh, yeah.
dreadlocks whipping around, people start getting hit in the face, and they back up a little bit.
Back when they were
Hippie
that
predator
long.
shaking that ass.
Yup.
Bro. I remember when I headbanged at the Slipknot show in Tampa, people gave me 5 feet in all directions. Because I was just whipping the dreads around, and they were like, at that point, like, to my ass still. So it was just like, people were just like, I don't want to get fucking hit with those things.
We went to that show with Dyer and who else? What was that dude's name? You invited him. I didn't know him. At any rate, that other dude, if you remember him,
Maybe one day.
is currently in a romantic relationship with someone that I don't think any of us talk to anymore. She used to live with you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, which one?
With Pirate?
Huh?
She used to live with Pirate or used to live with me?
With Pirate.
Our mutual? Our Eskimo, one of our Eskimo brother ladies?
Yeah.
Oh.
So, like,
I know which one you're talking about.
yeah.
Small town things.
It's even a small fucking town, bro.
My only thought is she's going to ruin that poor boy.
Oh, no. Oh.
All right, I'm going to cut this part out because I don't want to dime out anybody. But, since we're talking about cars, let's move on to the great Tesla purge.
You didn't hear about that. What happened?
So Tesla and Elon Musk mostly decided that, I don't know, supercharging was stupid for some reason and fired the entire team, the entire development and maintenance team for the supercharger network.
Are you talking about like the super fast charging thing they were developing?
Yeah.
Okay.
And not developing, they're like out. You can use them.
Oh.
Yeah, they're sick.
I don't own one of those plug-in cars.
But about 10 days went by, and he is currently rehiring most of that staff. They got a fat pension when they got terminated.
I bet they did.
So I'm curious to know, and I'm sure it'll come out shortly, if they got to keep their pension, if they got to keep their separation pay, and then get rehired. And they're all like, oh, you want to rehire me? That's another $10,000 a year.
Ooh. I bet you they probably did. Because
Honestly, I'm not sure. Something on that scale, they may not have been able to renegotiate their wages, but they were probably in such unique pay and job field that they may not have a lot of places to go to right now.
Well, I mean, for the programmers, I'm sure they are jumping back on it relatively quickly. But for the electrical engineers and mechanical engineers to have Tesla on your resume, most of them probably had jobs set up and ready to go before they left their office.
And I'm gonna have to say I disagree a little bit, because we're at the point now where, come 2025, most manufacturers are going to have at least one electric car.
I think they have to.
You're not wrong in that, and that is correct. Manufacturers technically have to now, because they're under a stipulation to have a certain ratio for a gas mileage in order to still be a manufacturer in the United States. And so Toyota, for example, has released only one full EV vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really talked about, and it's not promoted because it's kind of a mediocre EV vehicle. Like the interior of the vehicle is Toyota quality, so it's super nice. It's very comfy. It drives very smooth. But the vehicle, as far as the EV range, gets like 150, like on a full charge, so it's not great. It's a slow charge on a supercharger. And so, like, comparatively to the market, doesn't do well. But Toyota made one to be able to still produce their fucking Tundras, 4Runners, and Tacomas because that EV vehicle is balancing out their ratio as far as their fuel mileage.
Valid. I mean, wasn't that the law put into effect by Obama?
Thanks, Obama.
I think it started with Obama, but I don't know when it went into effect.
Okay.
But I know the current law is that vehicles are or manufacturers are supposed to be like getting towards the end of making gas-powered vehicles by 2035.
Okay.
And then like General Motors has already made a promise statement that by 2050 they'll be just full EV. So we'll see what happens, but
So
I mean, 2050 I think that's a logical time frame, to be honest. That's many years, and automotive technology in the past 20 years alone has jumped astronomically from the beginning of hybrids with Toyota and the fucking god awful looking Honda hybrid with the wheel covers.
unless you're Dodge, because where everyone else is making electric cars, Dodge is putting a Hellcat motor in a minivan.
Honestly, that minivan looks dope.
I mean, I'd rock it. I wouldn't buy it over a Supra, but I'd rock it. I'd take it as a rental.
oh, hands down, I'd have fun with that as a rental.
Absolutely. Imagine driving up to the kids' soccer game in a fucking Hellcat van. Like, get in the. We're going racing.
Ground shaking, all front tires are spinning. Well, probably one, because I don't know if Fiat Chrysler has a good like poly or LSD.
They have an LSD.
You can't do a J turn in a Challenger.
What?
Yeah.
Is it not because they're so fucking wide?
No, it's because their limited slip is a brake system. It's not a. It's an open diff, and when it feels slip, it electrically hits the brakes on that wheel to force your power over to the other side, or at least that's what it was when the first gen Chargers were out. With the advent of the Hellcat and the Demon and stuff, I'm sure they had to put a limited slip in.
Mm-hmm.
But it's probably some Nissan limited slip big box like was R20 or R22 rear diff. Or it's a Mercedes rear diff, and that's even worse.
I mean, that's how the all-wheel drive in my Toyota works. It just waits till it feels slippage and it puts power to that wheel.
Yeah, but that's with a viscous coupler. That's a whole different beast.
Yeah.
That's
Still
I
a
had
mechanical system.
Yeah, I had an all-wheel drive CRV that was, for lack of a better term, way too fast for its own good. And I blew like 3 of those viscous couplers.
Damn.
Yeah, they put a K24 in a CRV, so I put a big old fat turbo on it. Like, you can't give me the best engine ever created and not expect me to turbocharge it.
I love when I get to see like super sleeper fucking vans when we used to watch the strip races on TV.
Yeah. Remember when I
beat up ass van just wrecking shit.
Do you remember the minivan that he was our sales manager when I worked at that really shitty dunk shop? Do you guys remember his van?
Yes.
We did a
with the 22s.
Yeah, it had 22s on it. It had 24s before I got fired. And we did a full glass roof for the whole length of the minivan. Something like 50,000 watts of subwoofer in it, and big old fat turbocharger on his poor Honda 4-cylinder.
I remember that van. It was dope.
It was cool. It was definitely Puerto Rican. It definitely fit him and his personality.
Oh, absolutely.
And I don't mean that in like an offensive way. I would love to go to Puerto Rico and build an 8.6. Like they got the recipe. They know how the soup should
Yeah.
taste.
And over there, you can easily find engines or components because all of their John Deeres have rotaries in them.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
Not literally, but there's definitely a few John Deeres where people have swapped them out with rotary engines. It's common.
I mean, you got to do something. It's not like you're allowed to do maintenance on your John Deere.
What?
Yeah, they're very anti-consumer, and the computer will lock you out if you try to do your own maintenance.
Oh geez.
Yeah, it's rough. Because I'm a big fan of like hacking, not computer hacking, but hacking the stuff you own to make it better or worse in most of my cases. Um, I run into a lot of the John Deere crowd that are trying to find hacky ways of lessening their maintenance expenses. So there's a guy, and I think he's been sued by John Deere, so it might not be around, but he created a Linux-based program that gives you all the diag tools that the dealership has. So it's all proprietary logins and all that stuff, and he just backward engineered everything and created this thing. And I think it's $100 for the program and like another $50 for the cable, because of course John Deere has a special cable.
Of course.
And I think John
Like
Deere pulled a
Mercedes.
Nintendo and wrecked him.
Damn. Like Mercedes, man. They sell cars, but they also sell special tools for those cars, which is every tool you need to work on said cars.
Yeah,
They're in the tool business way more than they're in the car business.
That's most European cars though, because Audi is the same way.
Are they really?
Yeah, but Audi owns everybody. So it's just like you could own an Audi, a BMW, or a Mercedes. That's basically what you got in Europe if it's a European produced vehicle. So with Audi, you get Audi, Volkswagen, Porsche, Lamborghini, Bentley, Bugatti, friggin' what's their other weird one that they only sell in France? Renault, I think.
Yeah, Renault is sold in France, and then there's also I'm gonna butcher this name, but Peugeot,
That might be the one I was thinking of.
because Renault is a engine manufacturing company that also makes vehicles.
Fair.
And I love them. They're all so fucking tiny. Remember those little roads?
Dude, I would love a sport car. The sport car commercials were so good.
I gotta be honest though. The Sportster like popularity in Europe is kind of dope because they have a lot of really nice little Sportsters that
Did you see
definitely
the
look better than the fucking Miata.
Did you see the one Toyota's getting ready to produce? They just greenlit a Miata competitor.
I did see something about that.
It's fucking hideous, but I want one.
I did not hear about this.
It looks like if somebody took a Miata and a MR2 Spider, the third gen MR2s, and like just smashed them together.
That's a big old grill, bro.
Is it the FTSE? Is that what you're looking at?
Hold on, I gotta pull it up.
New electric sports car coming, the FTSE.
The Toyota SFR.
Yeah, it's the SFR.
Oh, it looks like a largemouth bass.
Yeah, it almost looks like an ugly Aston Martin.
Maybe if you put it in a crusher.
It's a big mouth bass.
If you look at it directly from the front, it looks like a catfish.
Ew.
This thing is hideous. I'm sorry.
That color does not do it any justice either.
Those headlights are fucking tiny. They went with like tiny Porsche headlights.
When has Toyota fucked up a sports car?
Now.
So you know it's going to be good.
It's going to drive good. I don't want to be seen driving it.
On that premise, look up the FTSE.
FTSE?
Yeah, FT-SE.
Oh.
It's Toyota's all-electric sports car.
That thing kind of looks dope. Especially in that orange color.
So that's what I saw first until you introduced me that catfish of a vehicle.
This looks like an electric LFA.
I like this sleek fastback body though. I haven't seen a nice fastback in a while.
Oh, it's supposed to be a rear mount. It's supposed to be the replacement for the MR2.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. They were supposed to be coming out with an MR2 style car again. I guess this is it. It looks nice. I like it.
We're about to hit.
It looks like a supercar.
We're about to hit a golden age of cool cars none of us can afford. Mazda's coming out with the RX Vision finally.
I gotta be honest with you, man. We're kind of hitting a golden age in cars again, I think. People
Yeah,
are perfecting what they've been working on for the past 15, 20 years. They're having less issues with all the newer vehicles.
And then you have Nissan, who drops a bombshell, and there's rumors that 2025 will be the last year they produce the GTR, because
No.
and Nissan's reasoning so far, if the rumors are remotely true, is that in the next few coming years, the manufacturing plants to produce certain parts will no longer be available. So they will not be able to produce certain parts because of material shortages.
I'm
So,
good with it. The
I'm
GTR's
okay.
there's a
old.
rumor.
I'm okay with it, and I've never been a huge fan of the new GTRs, anyways. They took a car that was not ever like supposed to be a supercar, but could be turned into essentially a supercar, and took it away from the people who made that car and made it only available to people like to rich people. But I didn't like how they did that. I didn't like the way it looked personally.
See, and I'm a fan. I like the GTR. I like the R35s, like the stateside ones and the new generation ones.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
I
a
like-
fan. And
I like driving them.
you're not wrong. You're not wrong as far as that price point, but also like if you compare it to like what's the next equivalent like entry level hypercar or vehicle of that style, and that'd be kind of like the Z06 Corvette.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So like it's in that price range of that entry level hypercar,
Mm-hmm.
but it's way more feasible than an actual hypercar.
And so you buy a GTR, you buy an 08, you got 473 horsepower. And your buddy that buys a present model one, relatively the same interior, pretty much the same exterior. They've done a couple make it look a little bit better. Has 100 more horsepower than you. Like that's not cool. You guys haven't updated this car in a decade and a half, and now you're just throwing out big power numbers again. Although in 08, 473 horsepower was a lot of power.
Yeah, it was.
And nowadays 590 horsepower is not a lot of power.
I mean, that's with the introduction of all electric shit. You don't lose the momentum going through the motor and going through to the wheels and shit. So now we're in an age of immediate power.
Yeah, I still like driving internal combustion motors just because the feel and the nostalgia. Like I've driven the electric Porsche and I've driven a 911 GT,
Mm-hmm.
and the electric Porsche will stomp it hands down. But I would rather have a 911 any day, all day. I'd even rather have like a late 80s, early 90s one where it was still air cooled and the fucker only had 200 horsepower.
I'd take a 944.
I liked the 944 turbos, but it's front engine Porsche. It's Porsche's version of a 240 SX.
Yeah, and then Mazda made their version of a Porsche 944.
Yeah. I think Mazda did a better job, to be honest.
I completely agree.
All right. So, video game podcast.
Technically, it's We Talk About Whatever the Fuck We Want podcast. It's just primarily games.
Fair. We're 40 minutes into car talk.
We are all car people.
We could go back to festivals.
That's a black hole we knew we may not have come out of.
Well, it was a weird cut. So Xbox being, undecided. Good old Xbox Game Studios.
Or they just shut them all down. I mean, in fairness, they weren't doing the best.
Bro, Twitter would have you believing otherwise.
So, I mean, did you even attempt to play the travesty of that fucking vampire killing game?
That one I agree with. That was a good
Which
studio.
one?
That was a good studio that did a terrible job on a game, but I have a theory about that.
Uh-huh.
And we're talking about Redfall.
Yeah.
So, and this theory falls for every studio.
Mm-hmm.
I think when you have 100 people working on a game, you can have communication. I think when you have 1,000 people working on a game, you lose sight of the mission, you lose sight of what the game should be,
Mm-hmm.
and you lose the ability to make quick changes to correct a feature or make a decision without it taking weeks and weeks, knowing you have a deadline coming up. Because if you look at all these AAA or, in Ubisoft's case, quadruple A games,
Mm-hmm.
you see where they're like, yeah, we had 3,000 people working on this game. It's going to be a killer, blah, 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 blah. And you get it, and it might be feature rich, it might be featureless, but there's no like single path moving forward. It's all put together almost haphazardly. There are so many hot fixes after a release. You run into all these issues where I just think that some studios are getting too big and there's too much. I wouldn't say bureaucracy. I don't think it's intentional. I think it's
Right.
just there's too many roosters in the hen coop.
I got you.
Because indie games right now are murdering.
Oh, absolutely.
And everything that comes out AAA is passable. A bet, like if those games came out in the early 2000s, those would not be studios right now.
No,
No way.
because they're releasing and making excuses for releasing half-made fucking games. The only ones who are even getting close to developing and coming out with full games are the smaller developers right now, and it's in the indie games. I mean, like that's going back to Helldivers 2. While it had its bugs, which I will argue weren't bad enough to need to be fixed if I bought this game and it was just what I bought. Like if you had bought Halo 3 back in the day, where there were bugs, but you just played with them and you learned to have fun with them.
Yeah, and Helldivers' issue was it was too popular. The bugs
Yeah.
weren't game killers out the gate.
No.
They were little things that needed to be fixed but didn't need to be fixed to play the game. It was they're waiting a half hour to do a 10-minute mission.
Right. And so I agree with that. We'll see where they go with that. Xbox has so many they've acquired so many different companies at this point.
Yeah, and some of the companies they got rid of won a bunch of awards for their previous game, but
Yeah.
it maybe everyone's running the wave of success they saw during the unmentionable virus of unmentionable origin.
Right.
Because everyone being locked in their house played video games. Everybody now that everybody they're done being in their house and they want to go outside, and every parks are more popular than ever. Hiking trails are more popular than ever. Kayak sales have doubled. Like we're looking at a new age of people going out, which is arguably a good thing. That vitamin D is important.
I agree with that.
Very important. And for those that don't, if you listen to us, get out and touch grass. It's good for the soul.
Don't listen to him. You could take a pill. It'll give you all the vitamin D you need.
And roll around in grass.
Yeah.
Like the occasional
It's okay
tree.
to get a little sneezy.
You guys are a bunch of tree huggers. But yeah,
I have watched you hug a tree.
yeah, that's fair. I think you've seen me hump a tree.
Yeah.
Leading into that with Square Enix doing what I think they should have done 10, 15 years ago,
Stepping away.
getting away from Sony. They're not getting away from Sony as in like they're not going to produce games for Sony anymore. They're
No, but their
trying,
exclusivity is coming to an end.
yeah. And it was a soft exclusivity. We all got Final Fantasy VII on PC. We're going to get Final Fantasy VII Deuce on PC.
I mean, we've got all the old Final Fantasy games. You can pretty much get any single one on your you can get any one on your PC other than the brand new one now.
Yeah, like I don't know what the Final Fantasy 15 characters look like because I bought that game on PC and I immediately modded them to look like Power Rangers.
Oh, I forgot you did that.
So I played Power Rangers Final Fantasy 15 the entire time. I beat the whole game with them skinned as Power Rangers. I was the Green Ranger. It was glorious. Had a sword.
That was amazing.
I honestly don't even know how to play it with the real characters because I kind of forgot how I modded it and I don't know what to delete.
Just start over.
I think that's probably what's going to end up happening because I do want to get through it again. I just finished 7 and I'm working on Witcher 3 for the first time, which is a better game than anticipated. And it's one of those.
Witcher 3?
Yeah.
That is a
That's
game.
a phenomenal game.
Yeah, I'm finding that out.
That is a game
Holy
that
shit.
historically has so many fucking glitches, but people love them. It's just become part of the game.
Yeah, but they're the good kind of glitches. They're not like extremely problematic or like game ruining.
Absolutely.
They're the kind of glitches that like make you pause and be like, "What the wait, is this actually happening?" That's fucking amazing, or it's just a chuckle and you move on.
They're like the giggle glitches. I was like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
But it is a good game. I need to get back into. I played it for a few hours, but I never went through it again. I gotta start it over. I think I killed the cow, and then the whole city hated me, and then I stopped playing.
I never finished the main story of Witcher 3 just because there's so much content in that game, but I've got at least like 49, 50 hours into that game, and I still haven't finished the main story.
I'm like 70 hours into that Harry Potter game. I just beat the main story. Come to find out, you still have half a school year after the main story ends.
Really?
Yeah.
Did not know that.
You just go to class and unlock shit. The main story isn't so much tied to the timeline in the game.
Huh. Maybe I'll go back and beat that one finally.
Yeah, and the main story just ends. It's like you defeat the goblet and you're just like, okay, what now? And they're like, you still have the whole world to explore. You're just like, oh, okay, well, I defeated the goblet. I'm done now. You didn't give me Quidditch. I'm not going to keep playing this game.
Well, you have Quidditch now.
Do you?
No, they.
Yeah, that was. I thought Quidditch was like the second or third patch for the game. I'm pretty sure Quidditch is available now.
Not in the main storyline, unless I missed the patch. Yeah, Quidditch Champions takes the same engine that Space. I can't remember the name of the game. That game is based on and is literally just a Quidditch game. Like it's gonna run like FIFA.
Yeah, it's a whole separate game.
Yeah. Which I'll probably buy that. I'm not a huge Harry Potter nerd, but it is a fun game and it was a fun story.
That is fair.
And Warner Brothers hasn't done much to anger me yet. So, normal things. Oh, I take that back. They've done a lot to anger me because, N64 Harry Potter fucking exists. But I digress.
Real quick to wrap up the Square Enix talk, though. So it looks like as of yesterday, they've released in their reportings that they have a profit drop of 69.7%
Nice.
from year to year over the past 3 years. So yeah, they're going to be pushing hard to get away from that exclusivity to start opening up on all platforms.
Apparently $51.9 million operating loss last year.
Woo! Maybe we'll start seeing not Final Fantasy Square Enix games again.
But
That would be nice.
they have a couple on the books right now. They have another Dragon Quest coming out.
That'll be good.
They have the Final Fantasy 14 Dawn Trail, which is going to be the new expansion for a fucking game that's it's like 12 years old now. Is about to come out, and then Kingdom Hearts 4 is planned by now.
Yeah, but
Those are the three bigs.
Kingdom Hearts is going to be Sony only.
I don't know. I was a big fan of.
It depends on if they can cut away from them, man.
I was a big fan of Kingdom Hearts, and I've stopped playing it because I just don't have a PlayStation anymore for years now.
And especially if Square Enix cuts their exclusivity ties with Sony, they come out with some of the better RPGs that Sony puts out in general.
Yeah, dude, imagine Kingdom Hearts on modern day computers. Like, it would just be a beautiful game to play.
Dude, the last Kingdom Hearts game was dope. I watched DreadPirate play most of the way through that game.
It was fun as fuck, and it was very if you want to have a good time, watch somebody play that on illicit substances.
That's what I did.
But, yeah. It was such an like, think of it like this: when you're in fights, you get specials, and these specials are like when you run into a big part of a festival or like a burn or something, and you see all the lights exploding. That's how these specials were, every single fucking one of them. So it was a very in-your-face, colorful explosion of color kind of game.
That's pretty cool.
So I think that on like PC would just be a phenomenal time to play.
I am looking at a list of Square Enix games. And apparently, for the Japanese release of Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, Square Enix is the one that did the conversion, and they're the essentially the developer for the Japanese version.
It's when they were with Squaresoft, I believe.
When
they were Squaresoft and not Square Enix.
Oh, dude, I'm looking for another Chrono Trigger.
God, a modern Chrono Trigger would be epic.
They can even Final Fantasy 7 it.
That's what they would. Definitely probably fucking do. Because I'm sorry, I love new games. I love new stories coming out. I love what they're doing. I love where the gaming world is going. With everything kind of having its own story and not just hey, do this type shit. But I don't think they compare to the stories we played back, and like how into the stories you got with a lot of those old JRPGs. And like I remember sitting there for days on end playing those games, just because I was so ingratiated in the story that I wanted to know what happened. I cared about the characters, like watching a good fucking TV series.
You know what would be a good game recommendation for you?
What?
Samurai Jack.
There's a game?
Oddly good game. Much like Afro Samurai was a really good game. Samurai Jack was an amazing game. I don't know if you can get it right now. I
think it's on the Switch, if I remember correctly.
I got it on Steam. But Cartoon Network shut down their game production studio. And I think they pulled everything.
It's on Nintendo. The Battle Through Time.
Yeah, real good game.
I could absolutely see, just by the premise of the show, that being an awesome game.
It's cool. The leveling system, me and you could have very different skilled characters and still get the same storyline and the same set of challenges. Really well balanced game in general.
Okay, what kind of game is it? Battle Through Time. Here it is.
It runs much like Afro Samurai did.
Okay.
You just play Jack. Sorry. You just play Jack and, you go about being Samurai Jack.
If it plays out like the TV show, I'm here for it.
The graphics look like it's right out of the TV show.
Yeah, they did a good job not making the graphics crazy. But it it doesn't play like the show does in episodic, like where you could watch, if you know the gist of the story or you watch the intro, you could watch a single episode, have a good time, and you don't need to know what season you're in. You don't need to know what's going on in the overarching storyline. You kind of do in this one because while they call their chapters episodes in the game, you run into this issue where it is very much an evolving story throughout the game.
And it's on Steam.
Yeah, I shared it on Nintendo and Steam in our
Nice.
chat.
$40.
Yeah, it's $40. So that's kind of expensive.
That's pricey.
Yeah, I added it
For
to
a
my wish list.
4-year-old
It'll go on
game.
sale eventually.
Yeah.
I would.
I'm
Got a
down.
9 out of 10 on Steam. That's awesome.
It was an arguably really good game, and you can run it on a potato. It requires a GTX 750.
I mean, henceforth, it's playable on the Switch. That's about as potatoey as it gets nowadays.
Recommended 1080.
You mean that my 970 won't run it?
No, it will. It's just they recommend a 1080 to max out the graphics, which is still. I'm not saying the 1080 GTX 1080 was a bad graphics card. It was great for its time, but like 1660's equivalent right now, or fucking if you seem to find one, a 4050. And
I
you
mean,
get those traced rays.
segueing off of the Samurai Jack talk. Developers finally announced next Assassin's Creed game is going to be in feudal Japan, and the first preview of it is tomorrow.
I don't got high hopes. I'm
I don't
an
know.
Assassin's Creed
Ninjas.
I'm an Assassin's Creed hater. One,
I
Assassin's Creed Ninjas is a little on the nose.
yeah.
And two, the best part of the last bunch of Assassin's Creed games was not being an assassin.
I really enjoyed being a Viking. That was a fun fucking game.
So to that point, the Viking game was made by the Quebec game studio. And from what I'm seeing, this Assassin's Creed, which is codenamed Red, is also being made by that same studio that made the Assassin's Creed Valhalla game.
Valhalla was a really good fucking game. I played the shit out of it. I only made it halfway through. That's also because I did so much side shit in that game that I became way too powerful, way too fast, and then got bored.
I put another 10 hours into it before I booted up Witcher 3, and I take back my previous comments. It is a pretty enjoyable game.
I mean, you're just taking over England, and you know what? If I was getting into that.
Yeah, I'm all down for taking over England.
Sticking it to the white people, bro. Well, white people sticking it to white people is great.
I only got like 5 hours into the Valhalla game, and I thoroughly enjoyed what I played of it, but I never got very far.
That's one that does get better the farther you, because you get to do more things and you figure more things out. Just again, if you get too powerful like I did, it just kind of got boring because nothing was difficult anymore.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I was taking on the hardest people, and I was just like tearing them to shreds. And I was like, all right, I'm just kind of not having fun anymore. But I think I was probably 60, 70 hours in by then. Only about like halfway through the storyline.
God, I wish I had time to play more RPGs. I'm like, been playing Witcher 3 for 2 weeks now. I'm 4 hours into the game.
I feel that, man.
Dude, I'm so in that aspect. I'm so upset at Cyberpunk. I finally booted that game up after it's been out for 2 years. Started replaying it. Was really enjoying the replay of it. I've been really enjoying the story run that I've been doing.
Mhm.
Literally starting the last mission quest to like finish the main story, and the game glitched, and it just will not run on my computer anymore.
No.
And I even tried like starting an entire new game, and it still won't run.
No.
I've gone down to like minimum settings on everything as far as possible. Like I just can't physically get this game to run anymore. And on that same aspect, like I don't have a lot of time to dive into RPG games like I really want to. And so to be so close to actually finishing that and not being able to now, I'm like very upset about it.
That's fucking heartbreaking.
Got your $70 though. And to be fair, CD Projekt Red has done a lot of work on that game. It is a completely different game than it was.
They have. And I mean, I bought that game when it first came out. I played the ever living fuck out of it when it first came out, but
Absolutely.
I got stuck on so many side quests that I kind of just abandoned the main story and just explored the world. So like 2 years later, I booted it back up and I was like, you know what? I'm going to focus on the main story, focus on this main story of the expansion, and thoroughly enjoyed all of it. Got to the last mission and it just won't fucking run anymore. I'm like, well, CD Projekt Red strikes again, and it's probably not their fault, but like Obama, I'm blaming them.
Damn it, Obama.
Damn it. But still love that one.
All right.
Yeah,
And then
solid fucking game.
let's hit our final topic for the night.
Mm-hmm.
And this will be 2 weeks after it happened. Northern Lights hit. Dude, it was purple out here. It was pretty cool. We drove probably about 45 minutes east of the town I live in.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm so happy that you made it out to go see it. We missed it entirely.
I missed it entirely too. I was working the entire fucking time.
it looked good. It was cool. It wasn't the green. I still want to go to Iceland and rent one of those geodesic domes and like
Yes.
Oh fuck
That's
yes.
high on my bucket list.
Absolutely.
we'll have to make a plan to all do that. Maybe if we ever get sponsored or something, that's what we'll do with the money.
I've already got like a lot of information for that when we decide to pull the trigger. Like I've got a 7-day or a 9-day like full tour already planned, where it includes the dome, it includes like snowmobiling trips, all that kind of stuff.
We can talk more about it.
I think you've piqued someone's interest. The question is, are we all thrown in for the same geodesic dome and snuggle cuddling out of it, or
No, we each get our own, but I'm not against a snuggle cuddle.
no one's against the snuggle cuddle?
I'm never against snuggle cuddle. I'm probably gonna be doing it by myself. Or going out there a lot by myself.
You can come cuddle with me.
That's what I'm
I'll
saying.
say we'll give you the struggle snuggles.
It's like jujitsu. It's yoga, forced yoga. Oh, but yeah, it looked cool. I was really excited about it. The purples were really cool. And then what really tricked it off was I was sitting on the couch being bored looking at Reddit, and everybody in my local Reddit group for the town I'm in was posting photos of it. And I was like, well, I have a car. I'm an adult. I can go drive out and do things.
I'm an adult.
That's like, I ate ice cream for dinner that night. Who cares?
No. But I would like to see it. But I saw a lot of fucking pictures of it, and it looked so beautiful.
It was cool. It was a vibe.
I bet it fucking was. Normally we have to have electronics for shit like that.
Yeah. For sure. All right. Well, I think we can call it here, boys.
Yeah, I'm down for that, man.
Compared to last week, this was a much more steady conversation. So,
Dude, the edit
good
on
job, fellas.
the edit on last week's episode, if it's not made clear in the episode, because I also added a bunch of voiceovers. It was a fever dream. It was just 100% a fever dream. It took me a week and a half to edit that shit. I just finished it. It isn't even compiled yet. I finished it and then logged on to talk to you fools.
Well, that's fair. You gotta send it to me when it finally gets done.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
probably
it's definitely
compile it
fun.
tomorrow when I get home because I'm already kind of tired, and then I've had kind of a weird day. But yeah, I'll compile it. I'll throw music on it first, and then I'll compile it, and then I'll throw it in the drive. So if you guys want to listen to it in the drive, but it's for the most part, it's a really good episode. Having Dash on was a dope time. I am currently in the middle of talking him into a podcast that has nothing to do with the same theme as our podcast, other than crappy movies. And I will shill for that podcast whenever. It's not going to be a weekly thing. but he is seriously considering it. So I think
Do
it'll be a
that, or
good time.
we can maybe make it a segment of this one.
I was thinking I kind of want it to be his. I am willing to lend my hand with editing and all that stuff. But yeah, maybe the first couple we just throw them in as an extra episode that week. If you are listening, let us know. The basic theme will be like bad movies, and then we review them. You don't get to see the movie with us, but we will announce early that we're watching that movie. That way you could watch it, and then in a few days you could listen to hear about us bitching about it.
It'd be a fun time.
Yeah.
I'm always a fan of crappy horror movies.
Well, it's not. I had that discussion with them, and it's not crappy horror movies. We are definitely going to do some of those. It's going to be just like nostalgic movies or modern movies or directors that make movies just to make movies, like that Uwe guy, and just stuff that has like a cult following but is arguably a terrible movie, such as the Mario Brothers movie.
Classic.
Loved it.
But for shoutouts, we got watch us on YouTube. Subscribe if you want to, if you like hearing our voices. Listen to us on Spotify. You can find us on X and Instagram, all at the Depths of Jigoku. If you have any improvements to the show that you want to recommend, much like if you can help me get rid of that stupid fucking crackling that comes through on every episode for like 10 minutes, please email the Depths of Jigoku at gmail.com. We'll shoot you out a free shirt whenever we get them, or I'll just buy a shirt and send it to you. You have the only Depths of Jigoku shirt in existence. And yeah, man, just help us out. If you like us, tell your friends, tell your family, get your mom to listen. We're mom friendly.
Some days.
Some days, yeah. And as always, man, if you're feeling some kind of way, reach out to someone. Bridges are built from both sides. Be careful out there driving. Everybody's crazy. People die every day. Don't be on that list. Don't beat your wife. Don't beat your dog. Don't beat your wife with your dog. Don't sexually assault anybody. And good night.
Good night, guys. See you next week.
Good night. Till the next one.